Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon, teacher, and good afternoon, everyone. Today, my uh, remember Mr. Wichka, he's absent today, so I discuss about her point. Uh, Rational legal authority, the second type, Weber definite, uh, identify. It is not based on custom but on written rule. Rational mean reasonable, and legal mean part of law. Thus, rational legal refer to matter agreed to by responsible people and written on into the law. It in this system, authority comes from the position that an individual holds, not from the person who holds the position. And this, the charismatic authority, the third type of Weber identifies. Charisma is a great word that means give freely and graciously given. A charismatic individual is someone to whom people are drawn because they believe that person has been touched by God or has been endowed by nature with exceptional quality. And authorities are ideal type. Weber classification, traditional, rational, legal, and charismatic representation. Ideal type of authority. Ideal type does not refer to what is ideal or desirable, but to composite of characteristics found in many real-life examples. Next slide.
Okay, now I would like to invite Venerable James to presentation about this slide.
Yes, good afternoon, teachers, and good afternoon to all classmates. Yes, now it's my turn. I'm going to present about the transfers of the authority. Yes, the ordinary transfers of the authorities after term has been served or at the resignation or incapacitation of a leader in critical for social stability. Yes, for transfers of authority, there are two methods. For the traditional authority, people generally know who is next in line. Under traditional legal authority, people may not know who the next leader will be, but they know how that person will be selected. Yes, and one more, charismatic authorities, however, pose a problem of succession, which make it inherently less stable than either traditional or traditional legal authorities, because charismatic authority relies neither on a custom nor law, but it built around a single individual, the death or incapacitation of a charismatic leader can mean a bitter struggle for a succession. Consequently, some charismatic leaders make arrangements for ordinary transition of power by appointing a successor. Yes, and then the tip of the government. Yes, how does the worst tip of the government, uh, such as monarchy, democracy, this uh, dictatorship, and oligarchy different? As we compare them, let's also look at how the institution of the state arose and how the idea of the citizenship was revolutionary. Yeah, first, monarchies. Uh, monarchy, yes, monarchy. It means that a form of a government that led by the king or the queen. Yes. Early society was small and need no extensive political system. They operate more like an extended families, with a decision being made as they become necessary. As a surplus develop and society grows, larger city evolve. Perhaps about 3005 BC. Uh, City-state then came into being with the power radiating outward from a city like a spider web. The city control the immediate area around it, but the area between cities remain in dispute. Each city-state had its own monarchies, a king or queen, whose right to rule was considered hereditary. And one more, democracy. Democracy is mean that the powers of the power to the people. Yes, if we according to the Greek. Yeah, the United States had not city-state, each a colony. However, like a city-state was small and independent. After American Revolution, the colonies united with the greater strength and resources then came from a political unity. The conquerors, most of the North America, bringing it under the powers of the central government. The government formed by this new country was called a democracy. Yes, democracy, it comes from two Greek words. Kratos, it means the power, and demos, it means common people. Yes, democracy literally means the power to the people because of the bitter antagonism associated with the revolution. Again, the British king, the founders of the new countries were distrustful of the monarchy. They wanted to place political decision make king into the hand of the people. This was not the first democracy the world
Sorry,
had
sorry,
seen.
sorry, Venerable. The same
Yeah,
slide or different slide?
the same slide, yes. Now I am presenting about the democracy government. Yes. This was not the first democracy the world had seen, but such a system had been tried before only with smaller group and other cities that are great practice democracy to 1,000 years ago with each male about the 30 13, certain age having the right to be heard and to vote. Yes, members of the Native American tribe were also able to elect a chief, and in some women were able to vote. Yes, that. Yes. Now I am finishing my point. Now I invite my friend present continue, Mr. Hu Ihan.
Yes, okay. Thank you very much, James Chat. Now it's my turn. My name is Hui Hang. I'm going to presentation about this slide. And my point is talk about dictatorship and oligarchy. We can say that the power that we can get from the state or the old government, and we can call that the seizure of power. As you know that there are many systems of government. In some countries, an individual sees power, the government run by, where he's a single person and can is a small group. But if we want to continue from this point, we have to know about what is a single person. The government that run by the single person, it means that the one person or single person who has seized the power is known as a dictatorship. We can say that one person controls the people in the country. We can say in Khmer that uh, របបសង្គមនិយមឬក៏រដ្ឋាភិបាលដែលគ្រប់គ្រងដោយរបបសង្គមនិយម and the second a small group mean that the government or the country that controlled by a small group of people, and we can say just a short term that oligarchy. If we talk about oligarchy, is the government that have the small group run by yes run by their ideas, their opinion, and the people will be controlled by them. Just a small group. It different from a single person. All the system of the government are differently. Yes, it's absolutely. And one more, we talk about the totalitarianism. Totalitarianism is almost total control by our people in the countries. If we talk about totalitarianism, is refer to the single person too. It's similar, but it's just different. It like slightly different, less thing. And if we talk about in English, we have to it mean that it's difficult to understand the government that run by a single person and totalitarianism, because when we talk about English with the English legal, it's mainly like the same. But if we talk about in a Khmer form of Khmer legal or totalitarianism, in Khmer we call that របបផ្ដាច់ការ and a single person is we can call in Khmer that communist. Yes, if we think about communist and is like the same, but it's slightly different, less thing. Why I talk like that? Because if we look at about the previous regime or the last centuries of the government in the past, yes, it mostly like a totally like totalitarianism. Yes, it almost occur in the past of the government because of in that centuries. Yes, the leaders is the king or the queen. So everything has been controlled by the king or the queen. And the people cannot do anything without permission. Or the people who are living with the king or the queen cannot do anything. They are only like a slave, yes, who are work for the top levels of the century of that government in that century. And if we talk about Khmer is easy to understand, but in English not, it's difficult to understand because of totalitarianism is almost occur in the past, and a single power, and we can call oligarchy, is occur in the present. And now we go to the U.S. political system. If we talk about a U.S. political system, we talk about the parties and the election in United States. And you know that after the founding of United States, numbers of political parties emerged. But by the time of Civil War, two parties dominate. It means they have only two parties that occur, that mostly the people have known it in US. First, Democrats who in the public mind are associated with the working class and Republicans. And the second is Republicans who are associated with the warrior people. Yes, these two parties is different because of the first is a Democrat. It means that they work together with the people in the country. And second, Republicans, yes, they are associated, they are working with the healthier people, for people that have the people that have the wealthy, yes. And if we talk about the election in United States, we will know that the election, if the election have just like, for example, the Democratic parties has just only 49 seats, and Republicans have 51 seats. And you know that the result will be appealed, that the party who has win, who are get the score over the other parties, they will get all the seats of the government. Yes. And then we go to the democratic system in Europe. Yes. If we talk about a democratic system in Europe, we can only talk about the voting or the election in the Europe. The voting or the election in the Europe is different from US. Why I say it's different from the US? Because all that it opposite together, it opposite each other. If we talk about the election in the Europe not the election is not like the US, because for example, we have two parties. First is Democratic Party and second is Republican Party. Yes, if the Democratic parties have 49 seats, and then Republican Party have 51 seats, the result will be appealed that 49 seats is belong to Democratic and 51 seat is belong to the Republican seat. Is different from US, because US, if the one party who have win only one seat over the other parties, yes, they got all. But the system in Europe not like that. is like Cambodia too. And we can call in Khmer that ការបោះឆ្នោតបែបប្រព័ន្ធសមាមាត្រ yes. And now we go to unit 2, talk about the government institution. This point is belong to Miss Kanika, but today she's absent, so I will be represent for her for this point. The government institution. Yes, American government sovereignty. If we talk about sorry, if we talk about the sovereignties, it refer to that the state, the government that can do anything in with their people without without the obeys from the another countries. It means that the country, the government that can do anything in their countries, they can make law, they can apply the law in the countries without the powers outside, without control from the others colonialism. Yes. In Khmer, we translate in Khmer is we can call អធិបតេយ្យភាពរបស់រដ្ឋ. Yes. And now we go to the point of view. Point of view just the idea that just appear to remind you about the government or the government's sovereignty. Yes. The political system of the nation state is continually involved in resolving competition among its citizens. Yes. The people, it means that the people who are live in the country, they have the competition to resolve, they involve together. Each institution of government has its own role to play in the effort to resolve conflict. Yes, every country have their own, the government have their own role. It means that, for example, in Cambodia, they have like 29 institution of government. Yes. One is interior institution and blah blah blah. Or okay. And they have each institution have their own role to play. And we can say one more. The last is how much sovereignty does the chief executive hold, and how much is spread among other government institutions. It means that how percentage of government that they apply their role in the countries to lead the people. Now we go to the sixth arrangement of sovereignty. Arrangement of sovereignty. Yes, as I mentioned above that sovereignty, it means that អធិបតេយ្យភាព it means that the ability of the government that can do anything without leading from the another country or another government outside. Yeah, this is the switch arrangement of sovereignties we will discuss as below. What is presidential system? Second is parliamentary system. Third, military rule. And fourth, monarchy. Fifth, theocratic state. And the last, one-party political system. All these systems are differently, and they have every country, every government have their own role, their own system. Like Cambodia is democratic. Yes, is apply for democratic, and South Korean is apply for dictatorship. Yeah, and Vietnam apply for anarchy. Yes. A legislator is a body of citizens with the rights and ability to create the law. Yeah, this is it refers to the sovereignty. Yes, it also refers to the sovereignty. If we talk about the legislator, it means it refers to the people or the group of people or the kind of institution that make the law. Yes, they have rights and ability to create the law in one state or one country, in their country. Yeah. And there are three systems of, yeah, there are three systems. First is presidential, second is parliamentary, and third is one party. Regularly have legislator. It means that legislator, as I mentioned, they can create the law. Legislators may be unicameral, yes, or composed of one body, legislators, one plenum or chambers, or bicameral, composed of two separate chambers. To give legislators the right to decide what is the law will be. Yes, I mentioned that the legislator, yes, the rule is making the law, and the law will be applied for the government. And before they appeal, before they issue the law, they have to decide what the law will be, what the law is referred to, what the law is control, what the law is like, what the law is, what the people will be can be break the law, and the law will be according to their constitutional law. Yes, every law cannot opposite with the constitutional law in the government. Yeah, in one country. Yes, like Cambodia. Yeah. And now we go to a presidential system. I would like to invite Ms. Renick to presentation about this point. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, teacher, and good afternoon, everyone. I want to continue my points. Presidential system. To understand why the lower house independent of the chief executive in a president, and must discuss how such a system chose the chief executive and member of the executive. In a presidential system, the member of the both chamber of the legislature and choosing independently of the president, who is chief executive. This means that a voter vote appropriate for the president and of members of the legislature or through the election and had at regularly spectacular interval. The president system, unlike the parliamentary from the democracy, has a strong and independent chief executive with essential power related to both domestic or internal affairs and foreign policy. The president's independent from the legislature is based on election by the people to whom her or he is based on election directly accountable and not to the legislature as in the parliamentary system. Furthermore, the Constitution grants strong power to the executive in president system. For the next point, checks and balance. The situation provide for main price of government which are separate and distant from one another. The power given to each other are carefully balanced by the power of the other to price, service, and a check on the other. This is to keep any price from taken to much power or from missing its power. The president has of executive branch serves as a commander in chief of the military focus by consciously establish appropriate fund for the military and wrote to declare war. Congress has the power of the post as it controls the money used to fund and execute action. So that's all my point.
Now I would like to invite Venerable Muthi to presentation about parliamentary system.
Yes, thank you, brother, and thank you, Mr. very much. So now I continue from the Senate parliamentary system. Under a parliamentary system, the chief executive usually entitled prime minister is elected not by the voter, independent of the legislature by the lower house of the legislature. Voter select the lower chamber of the legislature, which then select the chief executive from among its own number, he or she. The tendency for the lower house to cooperate with the chief executive is increased by their knowledge that a vote against a bill could result in an immediate new selection, and that the prime minister might keep them from seeking resolution. The prime minister should the consular would pass, or should the prime minister lose any vote in parliament on a major bill, he or she will resign. The president is chosen every 5 years by a federal supply of all born state number of dependencies from state parliamentary. If one political party can elect enough of its candidate to constitute a majority of number in the lower house, they will select the chief own rank, who they likely to be minister from the party. So now I want to explain all of you about the parliamentary system. Parliamentary system, or we can call parliamentary or democracy, is a system of democratic governance of the state where the executive derive is democratic legitimate mercy from its ability to command the support of the legislature, typically a parliament, and it's also held accountable to that of parliament. In a parliamentary system, the head of state is usually a person distant from the head of government. This is in contrast to a presidential system, where the head of state often is also the head of government, and most importantly, where the executive does not derive its democratic legitimacy from the legislator. Next slide. About president elect from fifth term. The ceremonial head of state is mandated by law to call a new election. For this reason, a prime minister is wished to call for a new election or engineer a vote of no confidence at a time when the party is doing well in the public opinion poll rather than wait for the last possible date. As long as the parliamentary chief executive retain the confidence of a majority of law house member, he or she can make policy with a little in different from the body. About military rule. Under military rule is a military leader as chief executive, sometimes sitting legislator as the highest ranking person in the military to become chief executive. At other time, armed force and need politically see outside the building housing the chief executive and office holder to step down whoever had the up usually or colonial or general keep or take control of the armed force and become chief executive. The rule military then need contact the rebel help from military and civilian bureaucracy. Those are the principal group they share sovereignty with. So about this point, I want to explain you about what is the military rule. Military rule we can call military law the recall system applying to number of the armed force. Military law where the free authority take over normal